Hey, my life here in LA has starting to become boring. What's up? It's the Culture Detective here investigating your favorite movies. And today I'll be doing a Hong Kong movie review where I review 7 or actually this time 8 Hong Kong movies all at once in one video. So these are movies that I've watched like a very long time ago. So again, if you don't know this, I am into movies and I'm a Hong Konger, so I am watching and reviewing Hong Kong movies, and I'm doing them in batches. Usually I watch 7 or 8 Hong Kong movies and then I review them all at once, and then I wait a month or two and then I continue with another batch. So this batch of movies are actually from a while back and I didn't really have time by the end of December to do this, so now I'm doing this in February. So, anyways, starting off, I watched Peking Opera Blues by legendary martial arts kung fu film director Choi Hark. So yeah, I came into this movie with high expectations because it has a pretty damn good rating on Letterboxd, but I was a little underwhelmed. This movie is essentially a comedic action take on a historical drama that takes place in the 1920s or 30s, I believe. And yeah, I love how feminist this movie is, and the three main actresses who team up to fight against the baddies. They're all really good. We got Bridget Lin, who is amazing. We got Sally Ye, and the other actress was I forgot. I think it was Zhong Hong or something, which I don't know the English name of. But yeah, they're all really good. It's just that the jokes aren't really that funny, but it's still charming. It's still a charming movie nonetheless. So I'm giving this one a 7 out of 10. After that, I watched 2046 by the legendary art house director Wong Kar-Wai, and I even made a full-length review on it, I think. It's just a very inaccessible movie, and also the most Wong Kar-Wai movie ever. I've seen... How many Wong Kar-Wai films have I seen so far? I think I've seen 5. This is the most Wong Kar-Wai film Wong Kar-Wai has ever made, and it's so inaccessible. It basically takes Wong Kar-Wai's average, abstract, artsy filmmaking style and narrative style, and even blend it and chop it up and restructure it in ways that just completely shatters storytelling. There's barely a story here. And the first half of 2046 also doesn't have the magic that a lot of Wong Kar-wai films have. So I actually didn't really enjoy the first half, but the second half of the film is definitely a lot better and a lot more memorable. So yeah, feeling a light 8 on this movie. Then after that, I watched God of Gamblers, or Dou-san, which is written and directed by Wong Jing, a comedy film director, writer. And it's kind of a banger movie. It's a very commercial, mainstream type of movie, but it's also really well done. It's really entertaining. Wong Jing's old school humor is a lot wittier and a lot more fun than the garbage, lowbrow shit and piss humor he does nowadays. But yeah, the plot is kind of a mess, but it's still really fun. And if there's one other criticism I have for this movie, it would be that there's one instance of racism against South Asians near the beginning of the movie, which did not age well at all in 2023. But yeah, still, 40 years ago, this movie was a banger. Or I think 30 years ago ish, 35. Yeah, this movie is made 35 years ago. That's quite insane. Yeah, 8 out of 10. After that, I watched Naraka 19, or the actual English translation of the actual Chinese title is the 19th Layer of Hell, and it's directed by Lai Miu-su. So yeah, judging by the poster, you know it's going to be trash, and it is trash. It has awful CGI and awful editing. Hong Kong never really has made a fantastic horror film, aside from a couple, I guess. But yeah, the premise is very clearly inspired by new wave J-horror in the late 90s and early 2000s. But yeah, the movie is almost interesting, but it's just bad. Let's face it, it's just very bad. I guess one thing I like about this movie it's that it's very 2000s Hong Kong. Like I've never seen a film that captures this era of Hong Kong history and society this well. And I say this era as if it's a long time ago. I'm born in 2002, so this era. I have some mere inkling recollections of what this era feels like, and this movie captures it quite well. With the raincoat and the little beepy phones and melodramatic television. It's just very very 2000s. Oh my god. Okay, next movie I watched is Overheard. And I thought it would suck ass, but actually it's kind of good. It's kind of good. It's really well edited, it's well shot, and it's the closest thing Hong Kong cinema has come to the second coming of Infernal Affairs. The second act of the movie sort of strays off the path a little bit, but the third act is an absolute banger with a lot of twists and turns. I really enjoyed this one. It really exceeded my expectations a lot. And yeah, it's not your average police versus criminal thriller because the police sort of becomes a criminal, which I like, which is the type of shit you can't do in Hong Kong film industry nowadays. So really good, 8 out of 10. Afterwards, I watched Dragon Inn by King Hu, legendary Taiwanese filmmaker King Hu. Yes. And Dragon Inn is made in 1967, and the only other King Hu film I've seen is A Touch of Zen, which I've made a pretty lengthy review of, made in 1972, I believe. And yeah, it's nowhere near as ambitious or as artsy as A Touch of Zen, but it's still a beautiful, bold Ming Dynasty action adventure movie. Also, it's important to note that this isn't really a Hong Kong movie. This is more of a Taiwan movie with, I guess, a little bit of help from Hong Kong film industries and Hong Kong actors and producers. But yeah, it's so good, I might as well consider it a Hong Kong film. It has beautiful cinematography and a surprisingly orchestral score. I just wish that the main characters are a bit less overpowered. So yeah, 9 out of 10. Then I watched Lazy Hazy Crazy, directed by Lok Yi-sum. So yeah, Lazy Hazy Crazy is a very shit English title. The Chinese title is 同班同学, which means classmates from the same class, like same class, same mates, like, you know. And, judging by the poster, I first thought this is softcore porn. But it's actually not really softcore porn, even though it has a lot of sex. So this movie is essentially about three secondary school girls navigating the world of sex work and prostitution and sex in general. And while I really appreciate how brave the filmmakers behind this film are making a film like this in 2015, and it's refreshing to see such a feminist take on sex work, but still, the script sucks ass. The dialogues are corny as hell, the story lacks structure, and the ending is very, very lame. It's a very cop-out ending. It also has a lot of sex. Like, a lot of scenes, even though they don't involve sex, characters talk about sex. So yeah, if this movie was directed by a man, this film would have been very exploitative and very creepy. And I don't know what to say about that. It's just, thank God it's directed by a woman, I guess. But yeah, the performances are fine. I really like Fish Liu. She's slowly becoming one of my favorite actresses in Hong Kong. And she isn't even a Hong Konger, but she's just really damn good in movies nowadays. So shout out to her. And finally, before I left LA to Japan, I watched PTU by Johnny To, and holy shit, this movie absolutely blew my tiny brain off. I didn't expect this film to be this fucking good. This film basically takes the average Hong Kong police versus criminal genre and make it very artistic, very cold-blooded, icy, glacier, very Tarantino-esque, and it's beautiful. The police force in this movie, I mean, of course, if you look at the poster, it's almost like, ooh, the police must be glorified in this movie. You are dead fucking wrong. The police force in this film is portrayed to be very corrupt, and every single character sucks ass. If you read George Orwell, you would know pigs, sheep, dogs. Every single character in this film are either pigs, sheep, or dogs. And I love the cinematography. I love the musical choices, they're phenomenal, and the editing is sharp as hell. So yeah, I was absolutely blown away by this movie, and it's been a while since a movie had exceeded my expectations this hard. So yeah, 9 out of 10. So have you watched these movies? Comments below, let me know, subscribe if you want more, and thanks for watching. I've seen more Hong Kong films after this, but that will have to end up in my next review batch. Yes.